This is a CBS News Miami Special Report.
Well, good morning, everybody. Here in the CBS Miami newsroom, we are watching this situation very closely. There is a lockdown there at Christopher Columbus College Preparatory School here in Miami. We don't have much information as to what has sparked this lockdown, but it occurs other schools as well.
Yeah, so what we've just learned from the Archdiocese of Miami, that it's not just Christopher Columbus High School that is under a lockdown right now, but this also involves St. Brendan High School and the elementary school as well. Just to give you a sense of where Chopper 4 is live right now, they're flying over that school, and this is near 87th Avenue and Bird Road there in the Westchester area. All the schools are pretty in close proximity right there in that area, and that could be why there are several schools that are on lockdown right now. But this is a situation that we've been monitoring now since we first were alerted to it for about 20 minutes or so. And so what we can tell you is that we see a pretty massive police presence just outside of the school. And again, we can also confirm to you, we know the school is currently in a lockdown mode. That typically means nobody can go into the school and nobody can leave that school right now.
But we did see a few people as we were zooming in there around the school standing by outside. You see some people in the street right there. We're trying to determine if those are police officers. There you go. You can see the officers there in the street, but then you can see other people standing near the sidewalk trying to determine if those indeed are students or maybe parents that are getting some word and trying to figure out what to do to get their child as this school is on lockdown. But want to get to Austin Carter because he's got a better idea of this area because it is including more than just one school, that being Christopher Columbus High School, but there are three in total schools that are involved in this lockdown.
Yeah, and we could actually switch over and kind of give you a map of the area of where this is happening. This is right along 87th, which is a pretty busy area here. You could see where Christopher Columbus High School is and also the nearby St. Brendan Elementary School. Seeing traffic getting pretty congested through this area. So as you're heading north and southbound, it's going to be pretty tied up with a lot of officers out there. But most of those schools you could see kind of over on the left side here. This is where St. Brendan Elementary is. Over here is Banyan Park for that perspective. So that's kind of the area you're seeing Chopper at right now. So a lot of police in that area. If you don't need to be in that area now, certainly try and stay away. General area in the Westchester community, it's Coral Way, south of that area, right along 87th Avenue on the west side.
All right, Austin, thank you. Yeah, we're closely because the lockdown is underway, and we did see a number of people standing outside. Not sure if those indeed are students trying to get back into the building or if these are parents coming to try to gather their children, given notice of this lockdown. And we are getting information too coming into our newsroom from Christopher Columbus High School.
Yeah, so what we've been doing is we've been reaching out to the families that we know that may attend that school or have friends of friends. This is a very popular high school here in the Miami-Dade area, as well as St. Brendan with the elementary and the high school there as well. And we do know that families are being informed from the high school in Christopher Columbus that there is a lockdown in place. And so just moments ago, we actually got our hands on an email that was sent out to families. I'm going to read it to you right here live on air. Dear Columbus families, at this time, the school is in lockdown and police are on campus responded to a reported concern. There is no additional information to share at this moment. All safety protocols are being followed and we will provide an update as soon as more information is available. Thank you for your patience and your cooperation. And just to give you a sense, that email, excuse me, went out to the families of Christopher Columbus High School students at 10:56 this morning. So when we say this is a quickly developing situation and people are anxious to try to get information, I think that's a good indication that they are trying to stay on top of this and disseminate some of this information. But what we've also learned from that email that was sent out is that we don't actually know why police are there right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're just describing it as a lockdown and a reported concern. So that's really important to understand at this point so that we really take in consideration the scope of what we know at this point. But we do see a large police presence there and we do see people on the street nearby. But again, this is affecting the schools, the three schools in that close-knit vicinity right there. The main one, though, being Christopher Columbus High School. And it doesn't appear just by looking at this Chopper 4 video, actually live pictures, I should say, over the scene right now, that there's a lot of activity right now. You can see the police cars there, some of them driving up, many that are already there on the scene, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of commotion going on. So this may be a positive sign here, and we're hoping for the best, but the school is indeed on lockdown, and it has reported something that it is titling a reported concern. That is really all the details we know.
And also significant to point out, at least from what we can see from our live feeds right here in the studio, we also have not seen many ambulances come in or out of that school area. Again, we can only speak for what we have been monitoring in our live feed, but that is also something to take note of. So we're going to continue to follow this breaking story. Again, this is happening in the Westchester area. Well, we know that right now, Christopher Columbus High School, St. Brendan High School, and St. Brendan Elementary are currently all in a lockdown mode, and we can also report that there is police activity right there near Bird Road and 87th Avenue. You can just expect for us to bring you these live updates on this breaking news throughout this morning, and of course at CBS Miami at noon. We will continue our live coverage though on the CBS News stream if you want to join us there, but for right now we will go back to regular programming.
All right, we're continuing with our breaking news here on the CBS Miami stream. And as we've been reporting, and again, we'll read this to you as it came out to the families just about 20 minutes ago from Christopher Columbus High School. And it says, "Dear Columbus families, at this time, the school is in lockdown and police are on campus responding to a reported concern." Again, a reported concern. That is how they are titling this. There is no additional information to share at this moment. They say all safety protocols are being followed, and we will provide an update just as soon as more information is available. But looking at these live pictures over the school right now, it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of commotion. You do see police presence there. You also see officers on the street, but they do appear to be casually walking about the campus and the premises there, which could be a good sign. So we're just trying to understand exactly what has sparked this, quote, reported concern to put this school and two others in lockdown.
And just to kind of give you a sense of what we're looking at right here, so live pictures from Chopper 4 right now. So that road right there in front of that building, that is 87th Avenue right there. And then that white building that you see right there with all those windows, that is a portion of Christopher Columbus High School. I don't know if we're communicating right now with the chopper, but just south of Christopher Columbus High School, that is where St. Brendan Church is located, as well as St. Brendan High School and St. Brendan Elementary School as well. So this is another map just to kind of give you a sense of where this is happening. So just to the south there, you see that Southwest 40th Street, that's, you know, better known as Bird Road. And then to the right, that main avenue to the right there, that's going to be 87th Avenue. So this is what's generally known as the Westchester area, a very heavily populated area. There's a lot of businesses just right there on Bird Road. So there's going to be a lot of people wondering why there is so much police activity happening in such close proximity to these schools.
Okay, so we're getting some more information into our newsroom. This is what we're learning from our Peter Dench on the ground. We understand that he has heard from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, and according to his sources, this does not appear to be an active shooter, but what they are reporting is that there is a person with a gun on campus. We also understand in this information that is coming into our newsroom that they have found no one injured or anything to that sense, but that a tactical unit is working this as well. So that is a little bit of a sigh of relief, especially when you hear about 3 schools under lockdown, including Christopher Columbus High School. But again, this is from our Peter Dench, who is hearing from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office. Apparently word is coming through him that this is not an active shooter, but there is a report of a person with a gun on campus, which sparked what we're seeing right now, which is a lockdown in that vicinity where you have 3 schools that are located nearby.
That's right. And so that building that you see to the south right there, the bottom part of your screen, that is where the St. Brendan campus essentially is. And so I just want to make sure that folks at home understand that this is not only impacting Christopher Columbus High School, but also the St. Brendan schools that are right there as well. I myself tried reaching out to the church just before we came out live on air to see if we can get a better understanding. What we're seeing right now, there appears to be even more law enforcement officials arriving to that scene there. But at this point, as we've been reporting, we don't necessarily know precisely why there is such a large police presence as well. We're hoping to get official confirmation from either the Archdiocese of Miami or from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office. And you can count on the fact that we are for sure working our sources behind the scenes and trying to get that information. We know how crucial that information is to the families who are relying on us right now to get them this information as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. It's extremely nerve-wracking, as anyone can imagine, for a parent to get a message from the school saying that their child's high school is on lockdown for a concerned reason, but no examples or no details of that are being given. But hopefully this will alleviate some of that concern. What we're hearing from Peter Dench, and I just want to stress this, that he is hearing from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office that this is not an active shooting situation, but there is a report of a gun on campus, a person with a gun on campus. And this may be why we're watching as you see the police presence on the ground. It looks like they're looking through vehicles there. It looks like they're combing the area and this particular campus as well. Not sure exactly where this quote-unquote person with a gun on campus is, but it appears to be that there is a large presence there, police presence at that school. And to give us a little bit of an understanding of what we're looking at, Austin, I know that you've been looking into the map and the routes around this area. I imagine with the lockdown that's going to affect others trying to get nearby.
And you can see, if we just stay on Chopper here for a second before we jump to the map, you're seeing several police agencies out there now. So I've seen City of Miami Police, the Sheriff's Office. So when they get a call, something like this, and of course involving a school and having several schools nearby, you're going to see a big presence like this. So not only in the parking lot, but also stretching into the nearby areas as well. 87th, a really busy stretch of road here in the Westchester area, pretty much between Coral Way and Bird Road. That's where I am seeing a lot of traffic starting to build up. There's a lot of police, of course, a lot of media heading into this area as well. And imaginably maybe some parents that are concerned about this, seeing all of the police out there right now. So we can show you an area of where this is all happening if you're not familiar with where Christopher Columbus High is. If you know where Tropical Park is, it's just a few minutes away west on Bird Road and then up 87th. So here's a closer look in that area. It's on the west side of 87th. You can see the football field, and this is that big parking lot that Chopper was just showing you right now. Nearby and literally next to it is St. Brendan Elementary School. So it's this road right here, that's 87th. That's really going to be busy right now. So west of 826, south of Coral Way, north of Bird Road, that's where that activity is happening right now. And unless you live in that area or you may be near Banyan Park, you'll just want to stay away because we're just seeing so many of those officers and deputies out there right now just checking things out at these several schools in that area.
Yeah, and I just want to quickly point out, because we did hear from our reporter Peter Dench, who's saying that he heard again from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office that this is not an active shooter, that there is a report of a person with a gun on campus. And so I just want to point out that at this point, you know, we want more information about that, of course, but we cannot report to you which campus that is, because in essence, we're talking about 3 separate campuses. Although they are in extremely close proximity right in that area, we cannot report to you which campus this is specifically impacting in terms of where that report of a person with a gun on campus is. So that's just one of the questions that we're hoping to get answered in the next few minutes. We have several crews on the way to that scene right now, and so hopefully we're able to get a live report to you just moments from now from the ground. I would imagine that we're probably going to talk to some of the parents who are out there. As you could see, I would say even within the last 15 minutes since we've been on air, we started to see more and more what appear to be relatives, family members who are arriving to that area and likely just hoping to learn whatever they can. We understand how jarring this can be for families and the fear that they may have at this moment when they get that alert on their phone saying that their kid's school, their student's school has been placed on lockdown and not much else information other than that the police are there at this moment investigating. And so we are working are doing our very best to try to get significant details and updates
Yeah,
for these families.
as far as that alert goes, and it's a valid point here because it was only at, let me look at the time right here, was at 10:56, so about maybe 30 minutes ago that this alert went out to the families of Christopher Columbus High School, basically saying that the school's on lockdown, police are on campus, responding that is, to what they are calling a reported concern, and then basically saying there's no additional information to share at this moment, but they are following safety protocols and will provide information as soon as they get it. But then we learned from our own reporter Peter Dinch that we hear that this does not appear to be an active shooting there on campus, but we're learning some more information. What do you think?
Yeah, Betty, I just want to interject for a moment because we are hearing from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, and this is what they have to say so far, that they immediately responded to Columbus High School regarding a report of a potential armed subject on campus. Deputies, along with the priority response team, are on site conducting a thorough search of Columbus, I should say, and St. Brendan. So it appears that they are investigating a report of a potential armed subject on campus, and they're not able to give us any other details other than that at this point. So I think it's safe to say at this point this is an ongoing situation, but at no point did they say active shooter.
Right, which is the good news
threat.
here, right?
Correct.
Because when you see a school on lockdown, that is a fear that runs through so many of our minds, given what we have seen, unfortunately, in the past. But if you look at, as this Chopper 4 starts panning over, and you can see much of the area has been shut down. You can see the police cars there that are roaming the streets. But more importantly is around the campus, you are seeing just a number of police officers, sheriff's deputies there. You see them surrounding the entrance right there, and in another angle we were able to see them walking through a parking lot area where they appeared to be searching vehicles there. So clearly they are looking to see anything connected to what is being described as a potential armed subject on campus. It's not known if this person has been found, if this person has been detained, or if they're trying to find this person. A lot of information is still not coming in clearly because it's an active situation, and we're all kind of learning it as we're watching it right now and piecing together some of the information that you're seeing right now on the air.
But what we can report to you right now, and this is the reason why we're live on the air right now with this breaking news, is that there are 3 schools on lockdown right now with a heavy police presence, and this is happening right there near Bird Road and 87th Avenue. Yes, Austin.
All right, so just want to switch over to what we had on the maps here. This is what was sent out by the Sheriff's Office literally 4 minutes ago on X. This is that post, a community alert, and this is telling everybody out in the public now what is going on. And it's similar to what you've just been saying there, Erica, that they did get this report of a possibly armed person on the campus there. And so the deputies, the priority response team, they're out there now. So they are searching Columbus and St. Brendan right now. That's why you saw that big presence out there in the parking lots, several agencies involved. And by the way, when we were just with Chopper there, I also saw an FHP troopers cruiser out there now. So at least 3 agencies we know out there, and they are searching through that school right now, or both of them rather. Again, posting this to X here literally 4 minutes ago from the Sheriff's Office saying that they are investigating this, and they did get that report of someone with a gun on the campus there. So the public is obviously being alerted about this. Certainly parents are concerned, people living nearby are concerned, but this is why we're seeing several agencies out there as we speak.
And Austin, a couple of things that I want to point out. One, and we can't read too much into it, right? And we don't want to speculate, but what we did not hear anything about in that message from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office is anything about injuries at this point. I know that we are also reaching out to the Miami-Dade Fire Department as well to see if they can give us any information in terms of if any transports have been made so far, but they did not say anything about injuries, just that it's essentially that they're responding to this and they're investigating this right now.
Yeah, well, our Peter Dinch did speak with the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, and according to his report, and this is what I'm reading, they have found no patients yet. The call is being worked at this moment, and they are obviously at the scene trying to decipher what has occurred. But that is what we're hearing from our own reporter, Peter Dench. And this is according to Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, that it does not appear that they have responded to any injuries at this moment.
Yeah, and let's give that a timestamp. We got that information right at 11:11. It is almost 11:30 at this point, and in that time span, Betty, and chime in on this, we still have not seen any ambulances on scene, either coming or going when it comes to that campus area as well.
Absolutely.
Just a quick note, now that Chopper 4 is giving us a wider shot of the situation there, it does appear, just so folks know, this is impacting traffic on 87th Avenue. It looks like they have it blocked off for several blocks there, and this may even be impacting traffic on Bird Road as well. I don't know how far out they can pan, but there is no traffic getting through this area right now. So that's just a heads up for people who maybe frequent this area, especially around lunchtime.
Or even parents who may
try
to get to the schools to see how their children are doing, because again, we are dealing with numerous schools here, that being Christopher Columbus High School, and then St. Brendan, their elementary and high school as well. So that is what we understand is on lockdown at this hour. Again, just to be very clear, we are not hearing any reports of an active shooting. What we have heard is that there has been a report, this is from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, saying that there has been a report of a potential armed person on campus. And what we have been seeing in the past 30 minutes or so that we've been on air is a large police presence, not only the police department, but also we see sheriff's office deputies out there as well. And they have been going from car to car, it appears, searching the parking lot area of one of these campuses. I imagine there's a lot going on inside the school as well. So,
I've just been reaching out to people who are in the Columbus and St. Brendan community. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of frantic texting happening right now, and people trying to share information with each other. But all that I can report is that there is a friend of mine, her daughter goes to St. Brendan, and so that right now all she could say is in her current situation that the situation is quote unquote settled.
Oh, good.
That's all she can say. And this is from a person who is at St. Brendan High School specifically.
Inside the school?
Inside the school. Can't speak to anything else beyond that. I'm just sharing that one piece of information, that there is at least one high school student in that building right now who could say the situation is settled.
Well, hopefully that's the case, right? We do indeed hope that that is the outcome here. But if you look, and we've been talking about this for the past 30 minutes that we've been on the air, if you look at the response, right, we haven't seen anyone running. We haven't been seeing any kind of a frantic scene out there. And what we have been watching is a methodical, basically going from vehicle to vehicle to search the area. I imagine they're looking for anything in connection with what the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office is describing as a potential armed person on campus. But again, our own Peter Dench said that in speaking with the Sheriff's Department that this is not an active shooter, and then he also spoke with the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, and they have not responded to any calls of people needing medical attention. So all of this is very good news as we're looking at this lockdown situation. But from the onset, though, when you hear about a lockdown involving 3 schools, including Christopher Columbus High School, it does send off alarm bells. And then you get an email to all the parents and alerts to the parents saying that the school is on lockdown. But it's not just that school, it's 3 schools, and Austin's been watching the area as well, as we've seen the presence actually increase. And look right here in the left-hand corner of your screen, you can see people standing there along the side of the street. And those just aren't officers, those look like civilians as well, maybe even some younger people as well, perhaps folks that attend that school that may be trying to get back on campus.
And think about it here, especially for some of the parents, they may be trying to get to the school, kind of in a panic. Folks are heading in that direction, but things are closed, especially on 87th there on the east side of the campus. And again, now that we know from the Sheriff's Office that they are saying and now confirming about 10 minutes ago now that they are doing a search of Columbus and St. Brendan. They did get this report of a possible armed person on the campus there. So the entire area just has been flooded with law enforcement, choppers number's been hovering over. We've been spotting City of Miami Police, the Sheriff's Office, FHP, and of course those folks there who possibly could be parents, folks who live nearby, just standing just a few feet away from that school. It looked like they had some yellow tape up through that area as well, trying to keep folks away, but you're not seeing any movement, and we have not heard about any injuries, and it may be a good sign that we haven't, because we've also not seen any fire trucks, we haven't seen any ambulances, the Trauma Hawk landing nearby, nothing like that, and we've been up over this now for the past 30 minutes, so we haven't seen any of that. Hopefully that's an indication that we don't have any injuries, but this is something we all have to get confirmed at this point. But that is just what we're seeing from above, just an enormous response from law enforcement, from several agencies. You could see them still lining 87th there, almost back towards Coral Way. So they definitely want to keep this area kind of secluded for this ongoing search here involving the Sheriff's Office on both the campuses of Columbus and St. Brendan.
Yeah, and I just also wanted to point it out, is sometimes in a situation like this where it's involving a school and police activity as well, you start to see, as police are flooding the scene, their lights going off, and even as they arrived on scene, the lights are going off, and there's, as Betty has mentioned several times, you see more frantic movements and that sort of situation. We have not seen that since we've been monitoring this, and the live feeds of Chopper 4 has arrived for at least the last 45 minutes or so. What we have seen is a buildup of that police presence, and at times you see them walking out of their police units, and they're clearly armed, and are, walking towards the buildings. But beyond that, we really have not seen that much activity in terms of movement from individuals, whether that be law enforcement, students, faculty, staff, coming in and out of those buildings.
Yes, indeed. And we're also monitoring the scanners as well at our news desk, and hearing what is going on. And I haven't received any reports about any other indications as to an emergency situation involving any injuries or anything of that sort. We've also heard from our Peter Gents talking to the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Department, saying that they have not responded to any patients or anything like that. So hopefully that calms some of these nerves, given the fact that this school and two others, St. Brendan, are under lockdown. And as you're looking right now, you're seeing these officers, looks like those are some maybe perhaps with the Sheriff's Department, they're in the parking lot, and it appears like they're all just kind of monitoring the situation along the perimeter, trying to figure out what the next step should be. And so, there's a lot of questions. Clearly, we're watching this play out just as you are, with very limited information. But I think the good news here is we understand, yes, these schools are under lockdown, but it does not appear at this point to be, from what we are hearing from not only our reporter, but our sources, that it is an active shooting situation. What we understand it to be from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office is that there was a report of a potential armed person on campus.
And they have a team, a unit right now that is actively investigating this. It's what they call their priority of response team, or PRT for short. They are the ones on the ground, according to the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, who are conducting this investigation and a thorough search throughout Columbus and St. Brendan as well. And this is a specific unit within the Sheriff's Office that is designed to provide, a quick, coordinated response to any sort of threat, whether it's at a school or at a public place, and any sort of mass casualty attack. We're not saying that's what this is by any stretch of the matter, but that's the kind of high-level, highly trained officers, law enforcement agents who are on the scene right now, making their way through the school to investigate that report of a potential armed subject on campus.
Let's bring in Austin right now, because as we're watching this perimeter right here, Austin, you see a number of law enforcement vehicles out there. It looks like they got several of the roads blocked. Yeah, they do. And of course, the main one there, 87th. And that's because obviously they want to keep a lot of folks away from this area. So that way, as they're doing this search, clearly they're going to be on campus. They just want to make sure that the area is secure, the area is safe. But again, we can tell you that they are searching this area right now at both the campuses of Columbus and St. Brendan, which are literally next to each other there, because of that report
report of someone possibly with a gun on the campus there. But things are secure, it seems, for the most part. You're not seeing a lot of chaos, a lot of movement, just seeing that big presence out there. And again, I was mentioning you haven't been seeing ambulances coming in and out. We haven't been hearing any of those calls, no fire trucks as well. This really just seems like a law enforcement investigation at this point. So still a lot we don't know. We have those questions in now, but this is just what we're seeing from above there at the campus of Christopher Columbus. So if you live in the area, this is certainly what's going on. This is why you're seeing so much police, law enforcement, the sheriff's office, FHP on both of these campuses here at 1137.
Yeah, and just following that with our own observations here, as we've watched, unfortunately, many of these lockdowns occur in the past. If it truly was an active shooting situation, sometimes you will see children being ushered out of the building, students being taken out of the building in the safest manner possible to get them away from a dangerous situation. We're not seeing any activity whatsoever, and we're not seeing any frantic movement whatsoever. But what we have learned, which should be reassuring, is that they're saying that this is the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, that again, a report of a potential armed person on campus. And then as Erica was responding to or reporting there earlier, this response team, this PRT, which is the priority response team that is highly trained in this kind of situation, they are on site. We're seeing that. And here's the message that went out on X a little bit earlier, where you can see the sheriff's office making that statement that they immediately responded to Christopher Columbus High School regarding, again, like I said, a report of a potential armed subject on campus. And then deputies along with the priority response team are on the site conducting a thorough search of both Columbus and St. Brendan schools, which are in close proximity.
Yeah, and so, we've been in communication with individuals who either teach at that school or have students at that school, or have relatives who are in the area. We're trying to get those details. We don't want to speculate at this point, and we don't want to share information that has not been confirmed. But just know that we are working our sources, and hopefully in the next few minutes we can report to you an update that is official and confirmed in terms of what the situation is inside of that building. As we know that there is a special tactical unit inside right now searching the building after that report of a potential armed individual on campus.
I mean, just looking at Chopper 4 right now over the scene, I mean, you just try to count the number of law enforcement vehicles out there. This response came very quick and very prepared. So this is what this priority response team does, right? It gets there quickly. They are highly trained in situations like this. The school there, Christopher Columbus High School, is under lockdown along with St. Brendan, the two schools nearby. But as you're watching right now, and Chopper 4 has been over this for over 40 minutes now, we have not seen any frantic movement, but we have seen a very thorough investigation along the perimeter. Clearly, we can't see what's going on inside, but along the perimeter, it seems like they do appear to be looking through vehicles, making sure that no one is coming in and out. We've also seen people lined up along the sidewalks that are near the school. We don't know if those are family, friends, or maybe even students trying to assess the situation, and perhaps either for parents trying to get their children home and out of this lockdown situation. Clearly, that is not going to happen until the school allows students to leave. And right now, it is still a lockdown situation for all these schools. But folks have come to this area to try to see what is going on and perhaps be in touch with their child who may be attending these schools. But the good news here is we do not, as of this moment, have any confirmation or any reports, in fact, of this being an active shooting situation. So hopefully that really calms some of those nerves out there, because as a parent myself, I imagine getting a note from the school saying that the school is on lockdown and there is a potential armed subject on campus, that does send shockwaves, right? And that makes you very concerned about what's happening inside that school. But thankfully, we have the ability to be over the school right now through Chopper 4 and give you an idea of what actually is going on there. And it does appear that is a huge police presence, nothing frantic going on outside, which is a good indication. Austin?
Yeah, and in full transparency, we hear a lot of times, even on our scanners here, some inside baseball, we hear a lot about drills that happen at schools and things like that. But either way, when we start hearing about big police presence like what we did now, it wasn't clear at first exactly what happened out here. But we certainly get ready for this because we know any sort of call, even for drills, kind of because of the world we live in, we just see such a large response out there. And certainly it causes concern. Thankfully, we do have some better information now about what is going on out there, why so many deputies, FHP troopers, and City of Miami police are out there, and it is for this search here because of this possibly armed person right now. So that is as much confirmed information as we have at this point. But again, kind of these are our eyes in the sky here, our chopper, our drone, to see what's going on, which seems like on the outside, the campus is still, things are kind of frozen in time, but inside obviously a different story because we know that they are likely going hallway by hallway, floor by floor, and looking through both Columbus and St. Brendan right now because of this possibly armed person. We don't know who they are or anything like that. Of course, police are only going to release so much information as they're trying to gather the latest for us as well. But this is what we have going on out there at the school now. You're seeing a couple of people moving through the parking lot, sheriff's cruisers and deputies just beyond it. But you could see some of the school buildings there. Nobody is moving out. None of the cars that are parked are moving. And then beyond that yellow line, you see several people waiting nearby. Looks like folks who may just have been in the area, maybe parents. So hopefully they're being told what's going on here. And of course, the sheriff's office keeping us posted on social media as well.
All right, we do want to get to an update now that we just got from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, and this is a significant one. This is what they are reporting. No shots fired, no active shooter, no injuries. They are still sweeping the school, and the school is still on lockdown. I would imagine that applies to all 3 schools that are out there right now. But again, I want to repeat from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, they can now confirm and report no shots were fired. There is no active shooter, and perhaps most significantly, there are no injuries whatsoever, and they are still sweeping the school right now, which of course explains the heavy police presence and some of the activity that we have been seeing throughout this late morning here in the Westchester area. Again, this is impacting the Columbus High School campus, the St. Brendan High School campus as well as the St. Brendan Elementary.
Yeah, and so that's really important information.
This is a CBS News Miami Special Report.
Good morning. We are back here live at CBS News Miami and want to give you an update on a lockdown that is occurring at Christopher Columbus High School as well as the nearby St. Brendan schools. We understand from Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office that in light of this lockdown, we understand there are no shots fired. This is according to them, no active shooter and no injuries occurring at any of these schools. Indeed, it is under lockdown, but they are reporting that they are just still sweeping the school, but the school will remain under lockdown. Now, earlier we were being told that there was the possibility of a person on campus with a gun, and so this is what prompted all of this lockdown, which has occurred for the past 40 or so minutes there. We have seen a number of police officers, sheriff's officers on the scene. You see an emergency vehicle there right now, but what we understand to be very clear, these schools are under lockdown, but we have been told from the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, no shots fired, no active shooter, no injuries, and they are still sweeping the school. Although I will say that we had just watched, it looks like a gurney coming from that emergency vehicle that was going to the left-hand side of your screen. We don't know exactly what that pertains to because what we are hearing from the Sheriff's Department is that there's been no shots fired. So of course, there you see it right there, walking into the school, them surrounding, these emergency personnel surrounding what appears to be
a stretcher
some kind of a stretcher right there. So we don't know if someone was injured. We don't understand if that has anything to do with this or if it's a different kind of a medical situation. But according to the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office, there were no shots fired.
Yeah, and it's important that we come on the air to share that information with you. No active shooter, no shots fired, and no injuries. injuries. However, we are, of course, going to stay on top of this breaking news. Chopper 4 isn't going anywhere. We're going to continue with this live coverage as well on the CBS News Miami feed. And of course, we'll have the latest update for you right here on CBS News Miami at noon. That's set to start in 14 minutes. We'll see you there.